The theater was buzzing with restless energy. Camera crews adjusted their lenses, the audience whispered among themselves, and the panel of celebrity judges tapped their pens against the desk in anticipation of the next contestant. The lights dimmed slightly, and the stage door creaked open. A small, thin boy stepped into the spotlight. His shoes were worn out, his clothes patched in several places, and his hair looked like it hadn't seen a comb in days. He couldn't have been more than 14. The crowd quieted, curiosity washing over them. Who was this boy, and why was he here? The judges glanced at one another, some raising their eyebrows. On a stage where contestants usually appeared in glittering outfits and with confident smiles, this boy seemed out of place. His hands trembled as he clutched the microphone, and his eyes darted nervously across the sea of faces staring back at him. "Hello," one of the judges said gently, leaning toward the microphone in front of her. "What's your name, sweetheart?" The boy swallowed hard. My name is Daniel," he whispered. His voice cracked, not from age but from nerves. "And how old are you, Daniel?" Another judge asked. "I'm 14. The audience gave a polite, encouraging clap, but many still looked uncertain. After all, he didn't look like someone who could command a stage. "What will you be doing for us today?" asked the sternest of the judges, a man known for his sharp criticism. Daniel shifted from one foot to the other. "I'll be singing." The judges exchanged quick glances. Singing. On this stage, with talent from all over the world, only the very best voices left a mark. Could this boy, with his trembling hands and timid demeanor, possibly measure up? "All right then," the kind judge said with a smile. "Whenever you're ready." Daniel nodded, took a deep breath, and closed his eyes. For a moment, the entire theater seemed to hold its breath with him. And then, he began. The first note escaped his lips like a whisper from the heavens. Soft, pure, and haunting. The audience sat frozen, shocked by the sound that emerged from such a frail body. His voice wasn't just good, it was extraordinary. Smooth as velvet, powerful yet tender, carrying a depth of emotion that only someone who had truly lived through pain could deliver. As Daniel sang, the story of his life seemed to flow through the melody. Each note carried with it the echoes of hardship, hunger, loneliness, and dreams that refused to die. His voice soared higher, trembling with raw honesty, then fell into hushed tones that made the audience lean forward as if afraid to miss a single syllable. Whispers swept through the crowd. People nudged each other, eyes widening. The skeptical judge, known for tearing contestants apart, sat back in his chair, stunned into silence. Halfway through the song, Daniel opened his eyes. They glistened under the bright lights, reflecting both pain and hope. He wasn't just singing, he was pouring out his soul, bearing the scars of a childhood most couldn't imagine. Backstage, the producers watched in awe. They had seen thousands of auditions, but very few had this effect. There was something unexplainable about Daniel's voice, it reached into people's hearts and touched places long hidden. When he hit the climax of the song, the theater erupted. People rose to their feet, cheering and clapping, some even wiping tears from their eyes. The sound of his voice was more than music, it was truth, it was survival, it was beauty born from struggle. As the final note lingered in the air, silence fell again, heavier than before. Daniel lowered the microphone, chest heaving, eyes still shimmering. For a moment, no one moved. Then, the entire auditorium exploded with applause, whistles, and shouts of amazement. One of the judges covered her mouth with her hands, tears spilling down her cheeks. Another slammed the table with excitement, shouting, "That was unbelievable." The toughest judge leaned forward, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "Daniel, where on earth did that come from?" The boy looked down at the floor. I sing on the streets sometimes," he admitted quietly. "To help my mom. People give me coins when I sing. It's the only way I can help us eat." Gasps spread across the audience. Some clutched their chests, moved not only by his talent but by his story. And then, before another word could be spoken, one of the judges slammed their hand down on the golden buzzer. Confetti burst from the ceiling, showering Daniel in a storm of gold as the audience roared with joy. The boy's eyes widened in disbelief. His tiny body shook as tears streamed down his face. He covered his mouth, unable to process what had just happened. For Daniel, this wasn't just a moment of recognition, it was the spark of hope he had been praying for his entire life. As the golden confetti rained down, Daniel stood frozen. His small hands shook, clutching the microphone like it was the only thing anchoring him to reality. For a boy who once sang on street corners just to earn enough for bread, this moment felt like a dream too big to be real. The kindest judge quickly rose from her seat, her eyes glistening. "Daniel," she said softly, "your voice isn't just music, it's a gift. You sang from a place that most people never reach. That's why we had no choice but to hit the golden buzzer." The audience roared again, chanting his name. "Daniel, Daniel, Daniel." Tears streamed down his face. He looked out at the crowd, thousands of strangers cheering for him, and whispered, "Thank you, for believing in me." What no one saw was the boy's mother, sitting in the farthest row of the balcony, holding her breath. Her clothes were simple, her eyes tired, but in that moment they shone with pride. She had walked miles just to sit in the audience, praying her son's voice would be heard. When Daniel spotted her, he smiled through his tears and pointed upward. The cameras followed his hand, capturing a mother who had sacrificed everything so her son could stand on that stage. The crowd erupted once more, not just for his voice, but for the story of love and resilience behind it. For the first time in his life, Daniel realized he wasn't invisible. He was seen, he was heard, and he was cherished. And this was only the beginning. Backstage, Daniel sat quietly, golden confetti still tangled in his hair. His small hands trembled as he tried to catch his breath, his heart racing faster than ever before. For the first time in his life, the world wasn't walking past him, it was standing still, listening. Crew members, producers, even security guards, people who had seen thousands of contestants, paused to congratulate him. Some wiped their eyes, whispering, "That boy, he's special." The host crouched beside him with a microphone. "Daniel, millions will see this moment. How do you feel right now?" Daniel lowered his gaze, his voice soft but steady. "It feels like I finally matter. When I sang on the streets, people just kept walking. Tonight, they stopped, they listened, and for the first time, I felt seen." The audience watching on TV cried with him. Social media exploded, clips of his performance spreading faster than wildfire. Comments poured in from every corner of the world. "This boy gave me hope. I cried listening to him. He reminded me of what truly matters: kindness, courage, and never giving up." Daniel wasn't just another contestant anymore, he had become a symbol. A reminder that greatness can rise from the humblest places, that pain can shape beauty, and that the human spirit is unbreakable. Backstage, his mother finally reached him. Her clothes were worn, her face lined with years of struggle, but her eyes glowed with a pride no riches could ever buy. She wrapped her arms around him, whispering, "You did it, my son. The world finally heard you." Daniel buried his face against her shoulder, tears flowing freely. He realized then what no poverty, no hardship, no loneliness could ever erase. His voice was pure gold. And in that moment, the boy who once sang for coins on the street knew his life would never be the same.